afternoon, everyone. So today I am presenting a case of granulomatous polyangiitis associated scleritis, misdiagnosed as panophthalmitis. So because of the diversity of ocular manifestations and the rarity of the disease, GPA presents a difficult clinical diagnostic problem. GPA may present with necrotizing scleritis and should be managed with aggressive immunosuppression to avoid the associated morbidity and mortality. So the ophthalmologist may play a significant role in its early diagnosis and treatment. So case history. So the patient was a 60-year-old female presented with sudden painful visual loss and photophobia in left eye since 2 weeks, and the base corrected visual acuity in right eye was 6.6 and left eye it was no perception of light. On examination, left eye had congested scleral vessels, anterior chamber showed intense inflammation with perilenticular fluffy exudates, and vitreous cavity was full of yellowish exudates with subretinal exudation seen hazily with ophthalmoscope, whereas right eye was unremarkable. Sonography of left eye showed vitreous exudates, shallow retinal detachment, and periocular exudation around the optic nerve. So the diagnosis of infective sclerouveitis or panophthalmitis was presumed, and after that patient's CBC showed neutrophilia, and the the ESR was raised. Patient chest X-ray show a lung mass or large nodule in left lung. So intensive antifungal regimen was started with oral indomethacin suspecting pulmonary aspergilloma related endogenous infection. So after the pulmonologist opinion, C ANCA was advised and it was significantly high, and CECT thorax and CECT orbit advised. CECT thorax showing left lung with thin cavitary nodule, and this is the CECT orbital picture which is showing periocular inflammation in the left eye. So diagnosis was revised to granulomatous polyangiitis. So patient was started on high dose intravenous steroid for 3 days, and single high dose cyclophosphamide were started with supportive topical therapy. Later the patient was shifted to similar oral therapy. 1 month later she had no pain, anterior chamber was clear, and scleritis has dampened with scleral thinning, but vision persisted to be low, and the lung mass had reduced considerably on skiagram. So currently patient is under regular follow-up with ophthalmologist and pulmonologist since 1 year with tapered oral steroid and cyclophosphamide and doing well. So discussion and conclusion. So granulomatous polyangiitis is a progressive with associated mortality if not treated timely. In total, 11% patient can have scleritis as initial presentation. So this case was marked by the severity of its presentation, leading to its initial diagnosis of infective etiology. So continued surveillance with clinical suspicion added by aggressive multidisciplinary interaction led to the accurate management, and the ophthalmologist may have an essential role in the early diagnosis and treatment of this disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. That was a very interesting case.
Thank you. Yeah, Sunita, that was an interesting case. But Sunita, what do you, what is the terminology granulomatous polyangiitis really mean or defined as?
Ma'am, because in granulomatous polyangiitis there is small or medial vessel vasculitis is basically present.
Yeah, it's basically inflammation of all the blood vessels.
Granulomatous inflammation.
Yeah, granulomatous kind of inflammation. So most of these preserved patients. So I think if you do know that this polyangiitis, this typical terminology was initially known as Wegener's granulomatosis. If you actually know, this was the original terminology to this particular disease, and this disease mainly affects the ears, the nose, the throat, and the lungs. Of these patients. So if you see a kind of a generalized inflammation of the blood vessels, okay, especially when the patient has pain on movement of the eye, which is a very classic feature in most of these polyangiitis, which develops scleritis for our patients. So our patients mainly come with a typical phenomena, which is called severe pain on movement of the eye. So these patients, as you rightly, I think after the investigation started with your blood tests and everything, when you went on to the HRCT, the high resolution chest scans, that's when most of these diseases are picked up very, very well. And then the patients are treated not only with steroids, but with immunosuppressants, because that's the only line of management that helps these patients. Is there anything that you need to add on to?
No, I was wondering, did you do a biopsy at any time? Do you need a biopsy diagnosis for this?
No, ma'am. Actually, the diagnosis was already confirmed on CT scan and pulmonologist opinion. So we didn't do
Lymph node or anything was
No.
biopsied. Okay. But I think the response was good. So yes.
So these patients don't only present, Supriya, with just the eye. They may have an early presentation with the eye, but they also have very early presentations with simple wheezing or, short breath, which is very classic again with these patients. So probably that is also something that you need to ask a patient who presents with such condition, where one eye is absolutely an OPL. I mean, I think firstly it was mistaken for a PAN-OFF, because when you see the picture, it shows you something like that.
Right.
But this is also something that should be asked.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting, especially during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Wheezing or shortness of breath, we'll only think of COVID.
COVID.
Yes. Interesting, Dr. Sunita.
Thank you, ma'am.